Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our Sunday Pureland Assembly. After this weekend, I'll be going up north for 2 weeks, and I come back. We're resuming my normal schedule, 2 weeks up, 2 weeks down, and so forth. And also your chance to say goodbye to our novices. They're returning to K-Land, I think, next week, something like that. So anyway, let's see. What shall we talk about today? Oh yeah, the prior weekend, we went and did the funeral service for Master Z's father. So I have not done it for quite a while, so I did it again. And typically nowadays, our people are good enough for me not to worry so much. But because last weekend, Master Z was not available, so I had to go cover for him. And I realized that looking at the process we went through, it's a very, very important process. So that's why I think in the future, the people who go do ceremony services, the funeral services, should try to explain to people a little bit about why we're doing certain things. Because most of these people, they don't know. Most of the guests who come to the funeral services, the funerals, they don't really know why we're doing it. And to them, it's all the same. It's like superstition or tradition only. First of all, the funeral service is a very, very good thing to do. And it's a good thing to invite the monks and nuns from various temples to come and do the service because it creates blessings for the deceased. And that's a last chance for the family and friends to contribute. Okay, so let me go through why we do certain things. And you, Sanghas, in the future should try to understand this and explain to people, okay, to help them understand the Buddhist rituals, why we do certain things. Okay, first of all, when you go to the funeral homes, this is where the first part of the ceremony was conducted. It's not a good place to go because funeral homes and cemeteries are the places where the ghosts and the demons reside. That's their territory. So every time you go to a funeral home, it's like you're going to a ghetto in New York or barrio here in Southern California, where it's very dangerous for you, to put it bluntly. And therefore, you have to be very careful, okay? Don't go there for fun, for example. I used to have a disciple who left me already, early days. She's more Catholic than Buddhist, but she was dying of cancer, so we helped her stop the cancer. She wasn't dying anymore, so she left after that. But she was Catholic, and she told me she really enjoyed going to cemeteries for fun because she felt peaceful. It's just the opposite. This is another weirdo, because when you go to funeral homes and cemeteries, it's the ghosts and troublemakers are there, and it's not good for you. First of all, and actually it's very dangerous for you. So we realize that for the people who go to funeral homes, the first thing we do is to purify the boundaries. So what we do is use this Dharma, this mantra, like a great compassion mantra, and the small benches and so forth, to set up a boundary where we basically take over that area for the duration, okay? So that we're protecting everyone who goes there. So when I was there last weekend, for example, when I walked in, as usual, wasn't bad, but wasn't bad because my Dharma protectors, my bodyguards were there already. They usually come in advance to pave the way for us. But still, they were not allowed to do anything more than that. Okay, and so when I got there, we purified the boundaries, the first thing, and as soon as we finished doing that, the area became more peaceful drastically. The boundaries means that we set up that area there, which includes the whole area, the room people get for the ceremony, and bathrooms and so forth, the outside area. So we couldn't cover everywhere, but basically we announced our presence and said, this is our area. If you stay within this area, you have to behave yourself. If you don't, I will evict you and throw you out. Okay? And so that's why the troublemakers understood it right away, and those who stuck around behaved, and those who didn't want to stick around had to leave. And those who stuck around misbehaved were immediately taken care of and thrown out. That's what it means to purify the boundaries. And believe me, it makes a difference. I was there. It's a huge difference, like a factor of 6-fold more peaceful than before when I was there. Okay? And we brought a lot of people, actually, to honor Master Z's father, late father. Okay? So right there, we flex our muscles and say, here we are, you better behave. We're no longer polite. So it's hard work for us, trust me. It's not a casual thing for us at all, because we're responsible for your safety. Okay? Next, we started a ceremony. This is for the deceased. So on behalf of the deceased, we did the incense praise like we did this morning here. So we offer incense on behalf of the deceased, okay, to all Buddhas, okay? And then we recite the Amitabha Sutra and the Amitabha praise and recite the Buddha's name. What for? This is to basically convince the deceased to go to the Pure Land. So this is when the guests and the family and so forth and us, we get there and we need to concentrate to convince the deceased to go, because we can't force them to go at all. So they need to be convinced it's a good thing for them. All right? So that's why we're doing this. And we recite Buddha's name for the deceased. And after that, we pay respect to the Buddha on behalf of the deceased, and then we assume that that he or she is willing to go. Okay, so the next part of the ceremony is kind of emotional. The family representatives will get up there and offer tea. And it's like 1 cup of tea for the road kind of message. Okay. And after that, we transfer the merit and virtue to all living beings. All right? So this first part here is for the deceased. So far, so good? Okay, that's why we're there. We're there to, first of all, provide protection for everyone, and then convince the dead to go to the Pure Land, because it's the best place possible for him or her, or including cats and dogs and anything, all living beings. All right? And after that, then we now at this portion here is basically now we use the opportunity to benefit the beings there. Those beings at the funeral home who decided to participate in the ceremony and behave themselves, then we help them in this section where we ask them to take refuge with the triple jewel, okay, and repent, do repentances. All right, so that's 4. And then 5A is for the family, where they get up and they talk, reminisce about, they want to share their emotions, their feelings, okay? And this is for the living. So this area here, this section here is for the living, okay? And so I spoke a little bit because I want to share with them that Master Z's father left already, decided to go to the Pureland already. So that's why I felt that it's better that Master Z went to Europe to work. And his Europe trip will create blessings that will be given to his father. If he didn't go, then the father would have fewer blessings. Okay, so anyway, so I explained it to them a little bit. I hope they understood. Some of his family and members understood that. But when they heard that he went to the Pureland already, they were very, very pleased. Okay, and then finally the viewing before they close the coffin, where the people would come up, file up and go and look at the deceased for the last time before they close the coffin. Okay, it's sort of saying goodbye. All right, and then the next section would be either at the cemetery or at the cremation part, where we did the incense praise on behalf of everyone there. And Amitabha here again, when we go to this new section here, because last week was at the cremation area, so a different area from the parlor, okay? So we had to go a different area, and that area, again, we use the opportunity to benefit all the beings there, okay? So that's why we offer on their behalf the incense praise. So in Buddhism, okay, the first thing you do is make offerings to a triple jewel. Simple offering could be as simple as nodding your head, bowing, okay? But here, formally, we offer the incense, okay, which is even better for them. And then we use our Dharma to offer just not to the Buddha, but all Buddhas of the 10 directions. That's the incense praise. And then we recite the Amitabha Buddha and so forth. It's to tell all the beings there in either the cemetery or in the cremation area about the Pureland of Amitabha Buddha. And then some of them get excited to hear it, and they like it, and maybe they wish that someday they go to themselves. Okay, and then finally, we last week was we cremated the body. Okay, and after that, then we close it out by doing a Pureland praise. Okay, and finally make a vow to be reborn to the West. This for all the beings in that cremation or cemetery area, depending wherever you are. And that's the end of the ceremony. And amazingly, last week when I was there, we had to break it. We started at 10 in the morning. And we stopped at around 11:30 to go to lunch and come back. I don't remember what time we had to come back. We had to hurry back, right? And then because we have to start the cremation by 2 p.m. Okay, so we took a break in between, and then we go had lunch and came back and did 6A until the end. Okay, and when I came back, it's kind of interesting. Still were a lot of people, and they looked very happy, talking to each other, and being content. All right, so I was impressed that a lot of people stuck around. Usually people would leave. They don't go to the cemetery or the cremation, Okay, and so clearly the Emitofuo has a lot of good friends and relatives. Yes, sir. Tu has a question.
Thank you, Master. Thank you so much for this very detailed and articulate explanation of the ceremony and the process. I've never seen it described this way before, and I really appreciate it. Because it's so detailed, about 6C, the cremation, the burial cremation step. So the Sanghans are still on the location, and the Dharma protector boundary is still in place as the body is cremated or buried. Is that correct?
No.
Okay.
Because it's a different location already.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we go to a different location. Suppose it's a cemetery, then we have a small issue. Cemetery is even worse than the funeral homes. By the way, the last thing I would recommend you to do is have a career at a cemetery or funeral homes. It's not a good thing. Okay. Come on, go. Okay. So, but sometimes we can't help it. It's not a good profession. But anyway, so it's so perceptive of you when doing the boundaries is only for at the funeral homes, and then after that it's a different thing. So we shortened it, and because we didn't want to do the purifying the boundaries again. So what I typically do is to do a invisible version of it, no ceremony, but we basically, when I go, I take over as well to avoid problems. Okay, so basically in the afternoon, I didn't know where the cremation area was, so as soon as I walked into that, basically I took over. Okay, so everyone was safe. Good point. And when you go to cemetery, it's the same problem. It's a worse problem in the sense that you have to cross the cemetery to the burial area, so a little bit more difficult. Okay, but typically what we try to do is protect you, because what happens quite often is that when you go to cemeteries or funeral homes, the ghosts would jump on your back and follow you home, and then look at your grandchildren. They love children, especially cute ones. And they jump on them and possess them. Okay? And so there's one thing too. This is why you monks and nuns have put so much emphasis on helping you develop samadhi power, because that's when it matters. This is when you are able to help protect them, because you can no longer talk. You can't reason with these ghosts and demons at the funeral homes and cemeteries. It's their world. We invade the world and they don't like it. So that's why basically we have to use brute force. There's no negotiating with them. Okay? Every time we go to the cemetery, they stick around, stand around, they ignore us. I said, what are you doing here? So we basically have to push them around because we can't do the set up the boundaries officially because the ceremony of one sections, okay, we don't have time to do that. So practically, I do it invisibly. I do a short version where when we purify boundaries, there are different ways of doing it. This is ceremony part for the living. So we tend to use ceremonies. But for me personally, there are much quicker ways to do it. Okay. So in general, when I'm there, then I will do it naturally. Okay. Okay. I can't sneak anything past any of you. You are so perceptive. The more I tell you, the more you have questions. Yes, 3.
Master, on Monday, the family brought his ash to the temple.
Yeah.
And his father appeared. And he was really, really happy.
Appeared to who? I didn't see him.
He appeared downstairs.
He appeared downstairs?
Yeah. And
downstairs where?
in the kitchen.
Which kitchen?
The old kitchen.
Here? The father appeared? Who saw him?
Martina.
Martina saw the dad.
And he was talking to Martina to Kenix.
Oh.
And he was really happy. His energy was very, very cool. And the leaves behind me was shaking, the plant. And originally when we brought him up, we didn't do the ceremony. So we offered incense and we placed him next to Amitabha Buddha. And then we went back downstairs and Martina was just talking to me. She didn't know what she was saying. So I asked her, is it because we didn't do ceremony? And he wanted us to do ceremony. So we came back upstairs and then we did ceremony. And then he was happy.
So demanding of a customer. Everything we do creates blessings for him. That's why you don't know how much they appreciate this. It's like to them, it's like so important. It's like a woman getting married and bringing a dowry to the husband family. So when he goes to Pureland, we do these things. We add to his bank account of blessings. Okay, so they appreciate it. By the way, so when we do these things, they really the deceased really appreciate it. They love it. Okay, because it makes a difference to them, a huge difference to them. So, but this is a tough customer. He insists on us doing a ceremony. Yeah.
So Kenix asked him, did you meet Grandma? And he said, no, he's still looking around. The place is so big.
I told you. Pureland is even bigger than United States. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, 1.
Hello, dạ con kính thưa thầy. Con có 2 câu hỏi. Câu hỏi thứ nhất là nếu mà khi mà đến đây mà con nghe lời thầy nói thì con cố gắng tránh không có đi tới những cái đám tang. Nhưng mà nếu mà lỡ mà tụi con kẹt một cái vấn đề mà phải đi đến một cái đám tang giống như là bất đắc dĩ á, thì tụi con dùng cái chú gì để trì thầm á, để cho nó được protect cái bản thân mình. Đó là câu hỏi thứ nhất. Với câu hỏi thứ hai á, là con thấy nhiều người Việt Nam á, khi mà vào đám lễ mấy sư cô mấy thầy lúc mà chăm trà đó thì hay nói những cái điều mà quyến luyến á, làm cho tất cả những người thân nơi đó khóc lóc nhiều á, thì như vậy có được hay không, có đúng hay không? Dạ.
Okay. Translation.
Hello, Master. I have a few questions. Question number one is when you go and wherever I go and I listen to you so I don't go to funeral services, but in the case that we cannot avoid it and we have to go to those places, is there a mantra that we can recite inside to help protect us? And the second question is, I see that within the Vietnamese community during these ceremonies, when we have the tea offering portion, they would always say things that cause feelings of lingering and create instances where the guests would cry. Is that a good thing?
Okay, good questions. Number one, when you go with other people, I don't think you can help yourself at all, because I'm looking at you personally. They're very strong. Okay, and these you walk into the world, and if you think you can go into the Harlem or a barrio here and think that you can protect yourself, I wouldn't even dream of doing that myself. Okay, it's not possible. Okay, so the best thing for you to do, if you're not with us, is to recite the Buddha's name constantly. Emitofuo, Emitofuo, or Yao Shi Ru Lai, Yao Shi Ru Lai. Okay? And in particular, avoid bringing small children there. Okay? All right. Number two, the Vietnamese like to do the tea ceremony there. You could substitute matcha, by the way, too, if you like. It's fashionable nowadays to do matcha, the green thing, you know. And so when you do that, and if people use emotional things and talk about it and so forth, that's part of the eulogy as well. Okay, that could be combined. It's okay when we're there. It doesn't matter to us because as far as I'm concerned, I would do my best to convince the deceased to go. Okay, we're here on a recruiting mission. We want to add more population to BLI Nation and Pureland. So we have means to persuade them to go. Okay. However, if this is a bad idea for the other temples, because if you get emotional, the deceased is more likely to stick around than going. Okay, so it's not advisable to get emotional. It's better to hold it. We used to, by the way, when we first started doing this, I used to ask the families to not get emotional at all until I feel that they're gone already. We used to do that. But now, after close to 20 years of doing this, we're pretty sure that if I'm determined to bring them there, make them immigrate to the Pureland, then it's pretty safe. They are no longer affected by the family, except for a few cases. Okay. In some cases, for example, if the deceased is very attached, very emotionally attached, let's say to the grandson, okay, or grandchildren and so forth, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but we have means to deal with it. Okay, so I can be unpleasant if necessary, to put it bluntly. Okay? And so we're not worried about it. But usually during this next section here, this 2A, 2B, 2C here, this is very powerful. And usually it's so powerful that they're sold, this time here. They tend very helpful, okay, for them. And plus we do it every single day as well. So we've been working on this project for a while, and therefore we have momentum already. So we're not horribly worried. But for the Vietnamese temples, the Chinese temples, and Korean temples, they do it once a week, or even more. It's better to avoid getting emotional at all. Okay, it's a rule of thumb. Don't get emotional. Okay, so the rule of thumb for the rest of you out there is avoid getting emotional for 49 days. It's a safe time period, okay, so that they have a chance. Okay, because if the disease doesn't refuse to go, I can't force him. That's why we have persuasive means to make them go, to convince them to go, because they have to they have to decide to go themselves. Okay? So there's some hard nuts, some cases where they're not even Buddhists. So you don't need to, it's more than just emotions, it's now intellectual. They said, you guys are a bunch of superstitious things and I don't believe this. Then I basically have to use other means to convince them. Okay? Doesn't matter who they are. Okay. All right, good questions.
Yeah, thank you, Master.
Okay, anyone else? So, Sanghans, I want you to know that this is a very important part of your work. It's not going to be like the tradition where you do ceremonies, collect the offerings, and go away, and go home, and go back to the temple. This is an opportunity for us to help both the living and the dead, and therefore, your cultivation. This is where it matters. Okay. And by the way, for in our world, this is where most temples depend on this kind of services. Okay, and so it's a good tradition for the temples. But for you, I want you to have that pride of ownership and a sense of duties in that we have an opportunity to help them. So, and this is why you need a high level of Kung Fu. So that you can really help protect seal the area, protect the attendees, and then ultimately convince the deceased to go. Okay? All right. That's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Keep up the good work.